Hello, my name is Mitch, and I draw Blood Force. And today we're going to take a look at another issue from the beginning of Image's existence as a comic publishing company. This is Rob Liefeld's second spin off book. He had Youngblood, then he had Brigade, and then November of 1992 he released Supreme Number 1. And specifically, Supreme Volume 2 Number 1. So this is Rob's Superman, boiling it down. It's a very simple concept, as is tradition with a Rob Liefeld concept. What if Superman was a dick? That's it. And the idea behind the Volume 2 is just to indicate that somewhere along the line they're going to try and release a Volume 1, I suppose, which would be a Golden Age Image universe. Or, it's something they could do, I suppose, if there's any sort of indication of interest in it from the fan base. And that would be, I guess, 40s, 50s, or 60s. Probably be the 40s, because they say he's been gone for 50 years. This is in the 90s, so there you go. And going around with Super Patriot and Glory, and I think Mighty Man are the Golden Age superheroes in this universe. So this one's kind of another B-team book. It's not one of the founding artists working on this, at least not in an artist capacity. Rob Liefeld does take over the writing duties. And for the art, we actually get Brian Murray, who we've mentioned once or twice before. He was the color designer on Youngblood and Brigade. So now he's getting a chance to test his artist chops. And he's going to start by going all out on the cover here. And it's not a bad cover at all. It's a good comic book superhero image. Does indicate that Supreme's not going to be... He's going to fit in with the extreme kind of characters of the time who are just super intense and, not hero-y. And that looks kind of painted. I think it is. So, yeah, he's not going to fuck around too much with the computer color separations. He's going to keep it traditional here. And this is, of course, silver foil and embossed. I think, again, this is a matter of just trying to give it a bit of a boost. Wildcats, Youngblood, Savage Dragon, all of them don't really need it. They've got the name brand. So they of Eric Larson, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, etc. This one needs a little bit extra. And we can't even get a bait and switch cover out of Rob out on this one. So we're going to have to go with the embossed foil stamped cover. So, and also, Brian Murray is helping out with the writing on this. So this is kind of his shot at being a big comic book artist. I know he did the color separations on X-Force before this. Before Image started up. So I guess Rob Liefeld probably knew him fairly well. And come over, we'll give you a try. I don't think it lasts for too long. But anyway, we'll take a look at his first attempt. So we're going to see a lot of messing around with the colors, since this is kind of Brian Murray's book, right? And we're going to do a full-on photo of the Earth, I guess. Unless that's a digital, like a try at a representation of the Earth. So this is going to be Supreme coming back from deep space. He's been gone for 50 years. And we're going to get some big panels. Did Rob help out with the layouts on this? Doesn't seem like it. He inked it, though. That's an interesting one. You don't see that too often. You think they get... hire a guy. Hire a guy who's a professional inker. Rob does okay when he's inking his own stuff. Or as like a guest inker for like a cover or something. Then it's a point of interest. But as a full-time, inking a full issue, it's unnecessary. And quite frankly, he's a bit too lazy for that. And this is some boring layouts. Just some NASA organization is detecting an incoming object, which sounds familiar. That's the beginning of Blood Force. Thieves. This is a nice shot of Supreme diving into the Earth's atmosphere. But yeah, no, these are way too big. There's nothing going on here. And nothing going on story-wise. And he's still entering the atmosphere. And we get gigantic panels saying, do it, send them up. This is, yeah, like all of this. This is all like 2 pages, max. Like you could do these 2 up here, these 2 down here, and then do something in the middle here. Or do it reverse. Up here and up here. And then have him like zooming in. That would have worked okay. This doesn't add anything. I mean, it's a decent drawing of a dude, I guess. So that's something. And Youngblood has been sent up to deal with Supreme. And we're getting another double-page spread. Like, this is 3 in a row, essentially. I think this is kind of a double-page spread. It's a whole bunch of, like, let's get 2 pages knocked out in a day. Yeah, the poses here are fine. We're going kind of simplistic on Badrock here, but it's fine. And big photo of the Earth in the background. This is we're trying to get this done as soon as possible. Although part of this might be because Liefeld's paying by the page, and he doesn't care too much about the quality, and he's paying extremely high rates. Jeff Matsuda apparently was knocking out like 3 pages a day, getting paid like $600, $700, $800 a page. And you see those pages, and it's like you can kind of see how he did 3 in one day. But like, you know, they're fine, but like they're not anything special. That's for damn sure. And I am supreme of the minuscule head. Look at the proportion. That's pretty bad. You know what? The chest isn't too bad. Like the pecs. This is a mess. And all of this is just like he's having 7 allergic reactions all at once. And this, I feel like this is where it starts. I can see, yeah, because like this is okay. It's starting to get a little out of control, and then here, and then he tries to match it. Now, see, you had it here. Well, this extra layer just, yeah, if you'd shaved off the extra layer of lump here, and then, you know, just kind of shrunk down everything in the middle, I think that would have worked out better. And this is all, we're not even trying to paint in stars anymore. We did here for one shot. This is painted, or it's done with white paint, or some. I think it is done with white paint. And this is just computer effect. There's like, if you were to take a look at the pen and ink drawing on this page, there's nothing there. And what has happened so far? How long did it take us to get here? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages to get here. We're how much of this issue are we eating up on? Nothing. And the art's like, you know, it's okay. It's nothing special. Is it better than Brigade? There's a question. It is a question. Maybe. Yes. I think probably. Probably. Okay, so he goes, I'm supreme, and they go, we can't hear you, we're in space. And then what's his fucking name? Combat here decides to attack him because he's Worf, and he has to attack the stronger guy on sight so that he can get whooped to demonstrate that he's strong. That's a really weird expression. And then Die Hard goes, Yarg. And yeah, there's a fight scene that isn't. It's fine. You know, he grabs him, throws him down. Bad Rock goes for him. I'm not sure if he was a hologram. I think this is super speed. And there is a kind of a funny thing popping up here where Supreme just kind of keeps um, manifesting sleeves and then shedding them like snakeskin, I think. Has him there, doesn't have him there. Who knows? I think he doesn't. You know what? I think Brian Murray forgot to draw them here, but figured he'd fix it in the coloring. Tricky, tricky. Doesn't have him. Doesn't have him on the cover, so that's definitive, I think. And then I outsmarted the 12-year-old that's in a giant body here. That eyeball is gigantic. I'm not sure what this form here is. I almost feel like this might be the nostril, in which case, like that's half his head. Did a better job of doing a pupil, though, at least. And interestingly enough, the pupil casts a shadow, which I suppose, if the light source is strong enough, it could. That's interesting. And the oh no is just that they shot him, which they probably should have done before this. And he gets knocked down to the moon, which is quite a distance away if you can see the curvature that far. And then he comes flying back out, and he punches them all, and the shockwave effect from Star Trek VI occurs. That's totally what this is. And it turns out that Supreme won the shockwave, so now we're going to be peaceful. And so Supreme returns to Earth, and it makes headlines, and that's not a bad drawing at all of, I guess, the mall in Washington. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's pretty good. I like the angle and everything. I don't know why his chin had to rest on top of the panel. That's a little odd. I mean, he is breaking at both sides there. And this is not much. Like this whole page is like not really anything. Just they need to verify that he's Supreme, and the machines all go boop, and a little printout says Supreme, and they go, oh shit, son. No, just that he's super powerful, and they can't really measure anything, so they figured that must be him. And they go, damn, well, in that case, do you want a job? And apparently he has a problem with genetically engineered superhumans, which is Die Hard, I guess. Because these two are aliens. He's got a suit, and he's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. Or his dad is, rather. He stole the serum, I think. And so I guess he has a problem with that, although later flashback comics will show that Die Hard was around in the 40s. So, I don't know. Maybe he forgot about that. Or maybe they came up with that idea later. And we're getting no backgrounds here. Backgrounds are just kind of flat colored, except for this line here. Intensity. I like that. Not even like the James Kirk Band of Light. This is just focusing on the pupils. Weird expression. He's having a stroke. Good expression. I like that one. And then Supreme leaves, probably busts out the window. And of course he can do the Superman thing where he can hear all over the world. And we're getting more photo backgrounds that Brian Murray doesn't actually have to draw. I wonder how much time he's saving himself. Probably a fair bit. Because he's the guy who has to go in afterwards to color this stuff, right? I assume it's quicker to color than it would be to draw something and ink it. And then fucking Z-Team is like, man, we should get him leading us. Uh-huh. And Supreme has feelings. And that's how we're going to end it. All right. And now we get welcome to the first issue of Supreme. So I just did a quick gloss over on this. This is a weird little missive. This is Rob saying, this is Supreme. This is what the idea is, basically. What if Superman were real and corruptible, or at least maybe not even corruptible, because I don't think Supreme is they haven't doing anything awful or anything in his, at least in his initial run. He's a dick sometimes. That's it. And then he trumpets Brian Murray, because he's pretty much the creative force on this thing. And says he's, perfect for the book and everything, at least for the first few issues. He does stick around for a while by the looks of it, at least till issue 6. And then they get Sean McManus in, and Brian Murray comes back for another few issues. I get the feeling he couldn't keep up with a monthly schedule, maybe. And then there's a lot of crowing in here. There's a lot of, isn't it awesome that a bunch of artists broke away from Image and started their own, or broke away from Marvel and started their own thing. We're all super stoked. This is Rob Liefeld being a shill for Image, which is something he can do. He's super proud of it. And he's gonna shit on Marvel for letting them go and for trying to clone their efforts, like for basically trying to replace the Image guys. Now that they're gone, they got to try and come up with something kind of imagey, or it's going to take a while at least to fill the gap, and they got to try and approximate what the Image guys left behind, and they have to do it with the characters that the Image guys created, which is true. This is a weird thing to just kind of put at the back of your comic, though. This is something that I feel like should be in maybe Youngblood. This isn't really Rob's book. Like, this isn't the Star book. And then we get an ad for Youngblood number 0 with alternate color scheme. I'm down. So here's what got published. Much darker. Interesting. Right? Same color schemes on the costumes, because these are the established guys, except on Battlestone, because we didn't. This is his Youngblood costume. What works better, the pink and dirt green, or the yellow and blue? It's a bit more brigady. I kind of feel like I might like this one better. And coming soon, Rob Liefeld's Blood Wolf. Not in its own book first, anyway. First it's going to show up in Darker Image. Are we going to see a Darker Image revisit at some point? I don't know. Could happen. It's possible. But first we have to endure a backup story. Infinity. By, who is this? Eric Stevenson. The man who writes literally everything for Rob, and Richard Horry, who's a guy. I mean, he did that Infinity pinup. Okay, so I did read through this. My first instinct was just to gloss right over this. This isn't even anything, But we're doing a review of the entire issue. Might as well, right? So this is the CIA. The head of the CIA was fired and indicted for funding terrorist groups. And they give the name. The name is Hagstrom. Yeah. And then the butler here refers to this guy's Hagstrom. So this was the head of the CIA. And he's funding terrorist groups. Now, I assume that when he did it, he wasn't wearing the mask, but I like to think that he was. And the CIA didn't catch on that there was something up with this guy. And then we get, this is a senator that is heading up the investigation on Destro, essentially. And then we get Infinity, who's a lady who has powers, woke up in a lab with a dude with a weird head, and went, "Come with me," and they flew out of there. And then we get like 3 pages about how she can't remember anything. And he goes, yep, sucks to suck. And he takes off. That's kind of it. She runs into an asteroid by accident. And Cthulhu's. So that happens. And then this guy is going to be the assassin that takes out the senator who's investigating Destro. We didn't get his name yet, though. And this artwork is all fine. Yes. It was a little iffy. The rest of it is fine. But I've seen some later issues by Richard Horry where he's doing a full issue. He can't do that. That's not his thing. So that was Supreme, Volume 2, Number 1. So, we can look at Number 2 as well. We probably got the time. So I remember buying Number 1 when it came out. And I bought Number 2 when it came out 5 months later. Man, that's not cool for your B team book, where it like the first issue, nothing happened at all. Dude showed up, him and Youngblood punched each other around for a bit, and then they went, "Yep, no, he's Supreme," and then he left. And then you wait 5 months to get a second one out there. Yeesh. I mean, Brian Murray he's busy. He's doing colors on like 3 or 4 different books, color designs. So maybe it's tough to actually work on his own book. Okay, so here we go. Supreme Number 2. Interesting cover. Not crap. Anyway. Very interesting line work. Like weird style. Nothing looks too bad though. Although, if you really look at the foreshortening on this arm, he actually doesn't have like an upper part of the arm. This is all, like, this is the elbow. The elbow looks like it connects right into his shoulder. But, at first glance, not too shabby. So, on this one, Rob Liefeld is the creator and co-plotter. Brian Murray is the penciler, co-plotter, scripter, and colorist. So, he's taken a bit more of a interest in this one. And inks, Rob Liefeld and Danny Mackey do inks on about half the book. And then Brian Murray does inks on the rest of it. So he's just like taking this shit over. Maybe this is why it took 5 months to finish. And okay, so Supreme is scanning the Earth to find out that all of his old comrades are gone. Decent shots. This is a pretty good page 1. Nice colors. Yep. This is where it starts to get a little iffy. So he's finding out about the world of Image. And so, yeah, this is, let's see, March of 93. Yeah, all these comics are, well, most of these comics are out. Wetworks isn't out yet, but everybody knows it's coming. And these are all the Brian Murray versions of these teams, but these are all taken from the pages themselves. You could have done your own version of that. That's from Brigade. Nobody would have cared. And he's describing them as all super corporations are sponsoring their own guard of genetically enhanced super beings. He seems to keep having a problem with genetically enhanced super beings. Is that what they're doing? I don't know if that's the case. These guys are government sponsored. These guys are independently funded by these two losers. Cyberforce, I don't know who funds Cyberforce. I don't know if Mark Silvestri thought about that. And these are, I mean, they are funded by a corporation, but it's more like a corporation's black book. And he's a cop. They're military, at least to start with. So, yeah. I'm not sure if he really, I don't even know where he even got that information from. He made that shit up. And so the first item on his agenda is to confront an old enemy. Nice shot. I like all this. Decent clouds, and he's coloring them nicely and all that. Not so much. So he just kind of flies in. I guess nobody can really stop him, and just kind of busts through the wall. And no, this isn't any good. Okay, moving on. So this is Grislock, which is not an old school like he was an enemy of Supreme's back in I suppose the 40s. They should have come up with a 40s name for him if they were going to do that. And so oh man, that's such a weird fucking look. All right. So when Supreme left 50 years ago, Grislock took the opportunity to run over Jimmy Olsen with a Mack truck, murder Lois Lane. Take that. They make a point of just keeping her nipple in there, right? That's interesting. A little strange for an image book. And decapitate, I assume torturing and decapitating the Junior Supreme Squad. Yeah. And so obviously Supreme is going to murder him now. And that's when the Z team shows up to tell him that Grislock is under heavy metal protection. Which is just ew. and they've got quips. We just had some of the just grossest like this is by far the most evil villain in the Image universe so far. And they're gonna show up. Supreme's in a fit of rage, and I assume guilt and self-loathing for leaving and allowing this to happen. And they're gonna show up and knock him around and spew quips at him. That's awful. And yeah. Ugh. So they just kind of beat on him for a bit, and he doesn't kill them. So I mean, he's a decent guy. These are some pretty good shots, I guess. I like this one in particular. This all reads fairly clear. Running into the hole. This is. I feel like I have trouble even focusing on this, even recognizing it as a drawing. Sorry, Brian Murray. This is much clearer. And then, this all reads fine. That shot's a little funny. And then come back down. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Weird expression. Brian Murray's specialty is just people having really weird and kind of creepy expressions. And this guy does sound attack. Interesting panel here. I think they seem to be winning. And they're all kind of teaming up on him. And this guy just goes, fuck this, I'm going to stab him. And breaks out his batleth, slices him open. Somehow sliced him in the chest and managed to slice him in the eye at the same time. Not sure how that happened. And now we get one of the weirder panels or pages in this book, where we get Supreme Vision, where he looks into what was his name? Skyraker, I think that was his name. His physiology, and just sees what's going on, and he's all crazy living weapons and stuff, and he has a coin-op grabby claw instead of a tailbone. I don't know if I can beat this guy right now. And this is kind of another thing where he's drawing with the colors. It feels like this is maybe a time when it's actually works in his favor that he's both the artist and the colorist. And I like this. What does he say? How to isolate his biological energy network and cut it off with a blast of concentrated beta vision. And then doesn't do that, or I don't know if he did it while it, just didn't show it. He described it instead of showing it, and then catches the blade and punches him. That was his solution. Sure. I mean, Rob Liefeld's still co-plotting on this. Are we expecting it to be clever? I do like this effect of the cut closing up. That's nicely done. This is a nothing panel. And now that this seems to be the way it goes for Supreme. He's going about his business. Somebody else goes, "Hey, who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Supreme." And they go, "Bullshit." And they attack him and he beats them. And they go, "Maybe we should settle this peacefully." And and what's the deal with Grislock? Grislock is like, he's provided himself an invaluable asset. Not only to Gate Industries, but our entire nation. And so, they're like getting him to help out with, I don't even know, strategizing something. I haven't seen any kind of evidence that he does anything worthwhile, that he thinks about anything worthwhile. So just kind of gross. And they're going to talk to, the head of Gate Industries. So exactly what he was complaining about at the beginning of this issue. Super corporations are sponsoring their own guard of genetically enhanced super beings. There's a genetically enhanced super being, and there's a corporation that's sponsoring them. Are these guys genetically enhanced? They might be. And, he's going to give him 5 minutes to just explain his position. And I like all this stuff here. This is... I don't think these... I get what he's going for here. With the, just click, chicka-chack, chicka-chack, chick, snicky-snacky-stack. That's my beatboxing. I know you're impressed. And so he just leaves out the window again. This is the guy that turned into the dragon and all that other crap. This is Menagerie. You couldn't talk him into joining the Team Z, eh? He's like, "What are you talking about? I just totally talked him into joining Team Z." I go, "What? Why would he do that?" Maybe we'll find out in issue 3. Not for a little while, though. And then the Klingons show up, and they're like, in their Klingon warbird, too. And they're like, "Supreme has returned, and he led us to victory. But will he lead us to victory again, or will he stay on Earth now that he's gone to Earth of his own volition?" I get the feeling he might stay on Earth. And we get the Supreme Letters page, which I'll come back to. They broke up kind of strangely here. I guess they don't want to put this page right here and make you confuse you even more. And you don't want to put a page of a comic on the last page of the book. Yeah. And this is continuing Infinity, where she doesn't remember things. And this guy is going to kill the senator. We still don't know his name. Part 4. What? Okay, they say part 1 was in Shadowhawk number 2, which I don't have currently. Infinity part 4. This one is Strange Interlude. I wonder, is this part? Man, I'm just confused now. Okay, something happened in between, potentially. And we finally find out this guy's name is Ripcord, which is a G.I. Joe character. But it's not like they're going to sue, because why would they bother? Is anyone going to give a shit about this guy? So he shows up to kill the senator. Infinity saves him by knocking this dude around. And we're starting to see that the art isn't quite as good as maybe the last issue indicated. And apparently his arm got cut off somewhere in the middle of that. And she... this is great. So she hasn't remembered anything up until this point. She had no reason for going to this... What even was this? The senator's appearance. It's just like a press conference. Okay. She had no reason to be there. She just showed up and didn't like that this guy was killing folks, so she cut his hand off and goes, "Oh my God, it all makes sense now. Memory or no memory, I'm here for a reason. And no matter how self-righteous or silly it sounds, it's my duty to protect people." And that's it. So that's her epiphany, is that she has to protect people. Why didn't you protect Ripcord? And then we'll get back to the letters page. And there's been plenty of time for them to get the letters and respond to them. Because remember, this has been 5 months. And this one's, yeah, most of these are glowing, naturally. This book is amazing. It's not, but that's okay. And then this one here, this is a very interesting one. Okay, so I'll read this out. Dear Eric Stevenson, who's the guy who writes everything. I guess he's the editor as well. I recently picked up a copy of Supreme #1 and felt I had to write and let you know my feelings on it. I like to think it's possible for me to find some level of merit in almost anything I read. That's an optimistic view to take, and I laud you for it. But I'm beginning to find out that I am wrong. You were wrong. It's okay. We've all been there. First of all, the art on this title is so weak that I find it difficult to believe that anyone was willing to print it in the first place. I gotta tap you on the shoulder for that one. Brigade came out before this. The excessive use of splash pages and illustrations that fill either a page and a half or 2 pages is also proof of this book's weakness. I'll agree with you on that. Anyone can see that the use of such oversized panels is mainly to keep from having to write too much. I don't know that that was the reason, but I think it was a nice perk. I'm beginning to think that's how Image got its name. Oh, good one. I would rather your company have been called Words, because that's what good stories are made of. It's a little lame, but okay, sure. Frankly, I find it rather annoying that this is the best your company could come up with. Supreme is little more than another version of things we have been seeing for years, as are all of the Image titles. Correct. I'm sorry if I sound like I just have it in for you guys, but I just can't figure out why you people at Image seem to think that a foil stamped cover is all it takes to make a winner. Yeah? If this is the best Image can come up with, then it looks to me like it's only going to be a matter of time before your company goes the way of Fawcett, Quality, Pacific, and First. Damn! Right? Like, this is, like, and I swear, Harry Hetmansberger is not my given name. I didn't write this. I agree with almost all of it, though. Like, and they published this. And their response is actually kind of a measured retort. It'll be a rare day indeed that everyone likes everything we or any other comic company publishes. And we're sorry that you, oh shit, I forgot, couldn't find anything of merit in the first issue of Supreme. As the saying goes, win some, lose some. And that's a little bit of just, whatever. That's, anyway. It will be an equally rare occasion when Image releases comics solely on the strength of a foil embossed cover. Okay. When we add something like a foil embossed logo to the cover of a book, we do it with the intention of providing our readers with something extra, much like the paperback publisher's invention in Mike Leonard's letter do. I guess that's another letter. Additionally, foil stamped covers haven't exactly been the norm here at Image, so it's hardly fair to accuse us of throwing in a cover enhancement just to increase the sales of our titles. That actually is kind of true. There has not been much in the case of cover enhancement before this, not in March of 1993. There was Wildcats #2 that had the big hologram cover. There was Shadowhawk #1, which also had a foil cover that was embossed. I think that might have been it. Although Bloodstrike probably came out around this time. But yeah, no, there hasn't been a ton. In the end, what can we say but sorry you didn't like it? Fair? Yeah, and then, of course, after saying, we don't just throw a foil cover on anything to try and sell it, I mean, there you go. That looks an awful lot like a foil cover to me. I don't know what a Miracle cover is. That is pretty, though. I like that quite a bit. And it is the only reason to buy Brigade #2. So that was Supreme #2. I did have both of these issues when they came out back in the day. There's #1. Shaboom. I did not have issue 3. And I was looking at the schedule to see if that might have something to do with why. I think it did. Issue 3 didn't come out until June of 1993. And I mean, for, a spin-off title, I mean, it's not even really a spin-off because it's not spinning off of anything. None of this was introduced. Oh, wait, no, it was too. Youngblood number 3, I think. There's a backup feature featuring Supreme. So, yeah, it is a spin-off title. And the first issue comes out November, 2nd in March, 3rd in June. Like, yeah, no, sorry, man. I'm tapping out after this one. Already, the art's kind of weak. Not as weak as some of the other stuff, and not as weak as it was going to get. But it's not top tier. The writing is standard for Extreme, or in other words, bad. And you can't come out on a regular schedule. No. How the hell did they ever make it to issue 6 is beyond me. Once they did make it, get issue 3 out, they seem to have been committed to a monthly schedule. Because they go June, July, August. They stumble a bit with number 6. 6 comes out October, so they miss September. And then they go until issue 31, and they keep it month after month for that. So that's actually kind of impressive for them. That's not a bad job at all. And I don't know how they kept it going, really. Did anybody care about Supreme? There's the bit coming up where he meets Image Thor. They have a very strange collection of artists working on it. Brian Murray does what he can. I think eventually the monthly grind catches up to him, and he just can't do it. I don't know if he kept doing his coloring duties on other books. I gotta assume not for the most part. But they get Dan Fraga coming in. They get Chap Yape, Richard Bennett, what must have been pretty early in his career. Sean McManus comes on for a few issues, which is a weird one. I remember seeing him in Sandman. I think he was the one who did A Game of You. That sounds about right. And it's a really weird, like, cartoony kind of style. And it's like, he's drawn Supreme? There's like a few guys where it's like, what is this style and what are you doing? I don't know, man, what they were trying to do. It's very strange. And then issue 41, Alan Moore comes on and goes, okay, so this is Image's Superman. Why don't I just write every Superman story I ever wanted to write that DC wouldn't let me do? And he turns it into an award-winning comic, like legit. Eisner Award-winning comic, I believe. And the Alan Moore Supreme run is widely lauded as being just like fantastic fucking comics. There's some, again, weird start at the beginning. I think Richard Bennett is the artist at the beginning of that. Stephen Platt gets an issue or two in there, which is odd. I think that's at the beginning of his run at Image. And then they discover Chris Sprouse. And just everything comes up Supreme after that. Everything coming up Liefeld. Because, then Supreme is all of a sudden an amazing comic. They do the volume, I guess it's not volume 2, is it? It's like volume 3. And Chris Sprouse keeps working with Alan Moore on his ABC comics, on Tom Strong and stuff like that, and it's a match made in heaven. And it's fantastic stuff. And maybe eventually we'll get to the Alan Moore run on Supreme. I think that's something to like try and work towards. That should be a goal. In the meantime, this is all we got. So I hope you enjoyed our review of Supreme issue 1 and 2. I know that I was here. If you did enjoy it, please hit like and hit subscribe and the notifications so that you'll know when I'm dropping more videos. Go over to Twitter, follow me there, and more importantly, go over to my Patreon and subscribe there. We need subscribers so that we can get Blood Force on the shelves, whether they're real or imaginary digital shelves. It will be on a shelf of some kind. If you subscribe. Only you. you have to go subscribe. Go do that. Go subscribe. And thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.